Hello everyone, human reproduction. So let's study the topic gametogenesis. Okay, so what is the definition of the gametogenesis? Gametogenesis means it is the process of formation of the gametes from the diploid germ cells. Okay, haploid gametes. You know that gametes are always haploid. So that is called as the gametogenesis. Where the gametogenesis takes place? Gametogenesis takes place in the primary sex organ, testis and ovary, and produce the sperm and ovum respectively. Okay. So this gametogenesis takes place in the testis and the ovary. Testis produces the sperm, so that is the male gamete, and the ovary that produces the ovum, that is the female gamete. In male, the testes that contain the immature male germ cells, spermatogonia, produce sperms by spermatogenesis. So that begins at the puberty, and oogenesis starts at the embryonic stage. So let's study about the spermatogenesis and the oogenesis in detail. Okay, so let's start with the spermatogenesis. What is this spermatogenesis? Spermatogenesis is the formation of the haploid male gamete, that is the sperm, in the seminiferous tubule of the testis. So that is called as the spermatogenesis. What are the steps involved in the spermatogenesis? Spermatogenesis mainly that contain the three steps: multiplication, growth and the maturation phase. You know that inside the seminiferous tubule, spermatogonial cells are present, right? So this spermatogenesis process that starts at the puberty. Okay. So at this time, the spermatogonia that undergo the mitosis cell division. Okay, so that undergo the maturation, the immature spermatogonial cells that undergo the maturation and which undergo the mitosis cell division and increase their number, and they undergo the maturation. So this phase is called as multiplication phase. So where the spermatogonial cell undergo the repeated mitotic division. So here you can see the schematic representation also. Spermatogonial cells which undergo the repeated mitosis. Okay, mitosis cell division and forms the large number of diploid spermatogonia cell. So diploid means all of these spermatogonia are at the 2n condition. Okay. The second stage, that is the growth phase. Here the spermatogonial cells grow in size by increasing the cytoplasm and matures to form the primary spermatocytes. So these spermatogonial cell, after increasing their number, it undergo the maturation, it increases the cytoplasm and the cytoplasmic content, so that is called as primary spermatocytes. So the spermatogonia that develop into primary spermatocyte. Okay, so this spermatocyte, so that undergo the maturation phase. So here the diploid primary spermatocyte is here. The spermatogonia is also diploid in condition, and primary spermatocytes also diploid in condition, which undergo the first meiotic division. The primary spermatocytes which undergo the first meiotic division and form the two secondary spermatocytes. So these secondary spermatocytes are haploid. So these secondary spermatocytes are haploid that contain the 23 chromosomes. Okay. So in human, diploid means 46 chromosomes are present. Haploid means so only 23 chromosomes are present, right? The secondary spermatocytes are haploid, but the primary spermatocytes, they are diploid. Then these secondary spermatocytes which undergo further which complete the second meiotic division. So these secondary spermatocytes which undergo the meiotic division 2 and form the 4 spermatids. So at the end of the spermatogenesis, 4 haploid spermatids are produced, and the spermatids which undergo the differentiation, structural differentiation, and form the spermatozoa. So spermatozoa, that is nothing but the sperm. Then in the spermatogenesis, the one diploid spermatogonial cell that forms the 4 haploid spermatozoa or the 4 haploid sperms. Okay, so this is the process of the spermatogenesis. Then there is a process, spermiogenesis. What is this spermiogenesis? The spermatids are transformed into spermatozoa, that is sperms, by the process called spermiogenesis. So here the secondary spermatocytes, they form the spermatids, right? The spermatids are like this. You know that sperms that contain the head tail region, right? Here, which undergo the differentiation and form the sperms or spermatozoa, that process is called as spermiogenesis. Then one more process, that is permeation. What is this permeation? Permeation is the release of the sperms, the sperm heads, so that become embedded in the Sertoli cells and are finally released from the seminiferous tubules. So the release of the sperm from the seminiferous tubule, that is called as spermiation. Okay, spermiogenesis means that undergo the structural transformation, the spermatids which undergo the structural transformation and form the sperms, that is called as spermiogenesis, and the spermiation is the release of the sperms from the seminiferous tubules, that is called as the spermiation. Okay, so this is about the spermatogenesis. Then spermatogenesis and the hormones. So how the hormones that control the process of the spermatogenesis? Yes, the spermatogenesis also controlled by the hormones. But which are all the hormones that control the spermatogenesis? So you know that gonadotrophin releasing hormone, that is GnRH hormone. So that is released from the hypothalamus. Okay. So that stimulate the anterior pituitary gland. So this gonadotrophin releasing hormone that is released by the hypothalamus, that is also called as hypothalamic hormone, that stimulate the anterior pituitary to release the gonadotrophins. So the anterior pituitary that releases the two hormones, that is LH and the FSH. So LH means luteinizing hormone and the FSH means follicle stimulating hormone. So these are called as gonadotropins, that is released by the anterior pituitary. Then what is the function of this luteinizing hormone? That stimulate the Leydig cells to secrete the androgens. Androgens that is secreted by the Leydig cells. So with the help of the luteinizing hormone and the follicle stimulating hormone that stimulate the Sertoli cells. So that act on the Sertoli cells. So these androgens that stimulate the process of spermatogenesis, that increase these androgen hormones that helps in the formation of the sperms, that is called as spermatogenesis. And the Sertoli cells that secretion of the factors for the spermiogenesis. So that help in the release of the sperms from the seminiferous tubules. Okay, so like this, the luteinizing hormone and the follicle stimulating hormone that helps in the that control the process of the spermatogenesis, that stimulate the process of the spermatogenesis.